Business over drinks. Business over drinks. This is Dave and Tom. This is Business over drinks.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Business Over Drinks. My name is Tang and I'm calling in from Singapore.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David. I'm calling in from Brisbane.
So we got another really exciting episode today. We've got a really awesome guest with us from, actually I'm going to keep that a little bit of a secret while I do an introduction for him, and then I'll introduce where he's from. And we're going to talk about something that is pretty much in a big part of David's and my life because, well, we drink a lot. So we're going to talk a lot about alcohol in this episode. So we've got a really awesome guest, Adrian Sim. So Adrian is actually an entrepreneur with a long history in stockbroking, property, and over the last, actually quite a few years, in beer. And he represents actually many international brands right here in Singapore where I'm based. So one thing that he's seen is beer is technically a monopolistic market in which brands are able to really compete on their own merits, right? So Adrian is now turning his attention to brand acquisition and development through his company, East Asia Beverages. One of his most exciting and most recent acquisitions has been Crossroads brand, the Crossroads brand, which we was really excited by the positioning quality. Adrian's also an avid sports person and is pretty much, if you want to be friends with Adrian, watch sports and drink beer. That's pretty much all we have to say. But you can check out his brand new craft beer, Crossroads, at crossroadsbrewing.sg. As always, we'll put the link in our show notes and we'll share everything on our socials as well. Adrian, welcome to the podcast. It was great. It's great having you here.
Thank you, Tern. I think it's always wonderful to come out and share ideas with people and like-minded individuals like yourself who like beer. Yeah, so it's great to be here. Thank you.
Excellent. So before we jump straight into, because I think we've got a ton of questions for you, Adrian, is maybe we can just have a quick discussion about what we're drinking. Dave, do you want to start off?
Yeah, definitely. It's in honor of Adrian. Thank you so much for sending both Tong and I some samples of your beer. So right now I'm drinking steam ale, and it's got a picture of. I don't remember it as being called the durian, but what do you call it in Singapore?
It's the durian. It's the Esplanade.
Is it actually called the durian?
No, that's the Esplanade. Yes, yes. But the local authorities want you to call it the Esplanade.
Esplanade.
Just like lemonade, So yeah,
I'm enjoying it. It's got a smoky. Reminds me I'm just like having a good cigarette, even though I don't smoke. It's smoky, flavorsome. It's a bit of a sweet tinge to it. I'm really liking it. It reminds me of the local brewed the beers here in Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I basically like beers that I like. I like to sell them.
Yep.
So starting with Australian beers long ago, I found that Australian beers are always sessionable. You guys get 40-degree summers over there, so you can't drink heavy beers in 40-degree summers. So the beers that we used to sell are basically the same kind of profile as what you're drinking now. So you'll find that for the rest of the range of Crossroads as well. They're all very sessionable.
Yeah. Okay.
You can try them all during this interview.
Oh, I think
is that an invitation to drink 4 bottles?
I think we plan to. So while Dave's gonna go through the entire Crossroads product line, I've got one of the other products that Adrian's company distributes, the Magnus Irish cider. I actually am a big fan of cider as well. So I think just to give a little bit of variation, because I knew you guys were going to be smashing through beers, I thought I'll just pop on the cider and just keep it a little bit different. Adrian, what about you? What are you drinking on your side?
Well, I'm drinking the #1 beer out of Prague, the most beautiful city in the world, Czech beer. So it is actually full flavored. The Czechs make really good beers. It's clean. And I like my beers full flavored. So even, but like you have a session IPA with you, that is it's full flavored, but it's sessionable. This is clean and it's sessionable. I love it too.
Oh, nice.
For the ignorant beer drinkers out there, myself included, what do you mean when you say full flavored and sessionable?
Well, it's all in the hops, and you see a lot of new products coming on stream to take over the space that the commercial beers have filled over the last 50 years. And I think there's a lot of experimentation going on with super strong hoppy, double, triple hop beers that you get. Yeah, so for me as a beer drinker, I really like something that I can drink 5, without worrying about. But if I drink something that's a little bit too much, it's probably a 1 or 2 beer session. That's it. So when I say sessionable, it's something that you can keep drinking and you don't feel you don't feel like sweating. Especially it's hot and humid in Singapore. It's humidity is crazy. So you just want something that you can really just keep chugging along at for the whole night.
Yep.
Oh, nice. So looks like Adrian drinks like we do, Dave. It's like 1 or 2 or 5. We just ramp it up to 5 as quickly as possible. We can understand that, and we just had to say this again. Drink responsibly, everybody. We just want to make sure that we cover ourselves.
Drink responsibly.
Yes.
Do not sue us. Drink responsibly. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only.
Adrian, we're terrified of being cancelled at some point, so we just gotta be really careful with things that we say.
Who's gonna cancel you?
The internet. So we always get worried about that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just jump straight into Adrian, because I know that times we don't really have that much time with you. But
sure.
We'd really like to know, maybe you can just give us a little bit of introduction about how did your career start, right? Were you always an entrepreneur? Was it something that kind of ran in your blood, or did you just kind of stumble into it?
Well, I've always had a problem with authority, and so my dad packed me off to Australia without any school fees, but I signed on in school, so I had to work 70 hours a week, and then you find work to do 70 hours a week to pay for your school fees, etc. This was in the 80s.
Wow.
So when I came back to Singapore, I did everything. I drove forklifts for IKEA on the weekends, and those were the days where you had triple pay on Sundays. So naturally, you work the whole damn Sunday. So I like working. I enjoy it. I came back to Singapore. First stint, I worked for somebody. I worked as a IT engineer for 18 months, and then I quit and I became an entrepreneur in property and I liked it, but it was a very routine sort of business, and so I didn't stay on for long. And yes, I've worked for people for 36 months in Singapore in total since I started work 30 years ago, and the rest of it has been in one business or another. Yes, I believe that it's probably in my blood, entrepreneurship, and some people just like it, some people don't.
It's a quick question. Where in Australia did you go to?
I was in Perth.
Perth, okay. A lot of people from Singapore go to Perth. I guess because it's closer, right?
Yeah, it's 4 hours. It's 4 hours to my chicken rice. So it's fantastic. I'd like to go back there and settle down.
Yeah.
Okay, if you ever doubted Adrian was Singaporean, the fact that he said his 4 hours of chicken rice should dispel any doubt in your mind. that was the best. That's the best one I've ever heard. How do you say Singaporean?
4 hours of chicken rice.
Yeah. No, it's Visit Perth Tourism Board, right? They should be doing this. Come on over. It's 4 hours to your chicken rice.
When the pandemic ends, that could be the tagline for the tourism campaign.
Yeah.
But
well, look, I've always liked the big party, and when I was in uni in Australia, beers are $2 a pint. So you only had to carry coins, man. You needed 5 $2 coins to get sloshed in uni. That was fantastic. So yeah, I came back to Singapore. I was property first, then stockbroking. And stockbroking, I started off by trading for the house. So I had to deal with the banks who were our customers, and there was a lot of entertaining and naturally a lot of drinking, and it was easy when I decided to switch. I went through the Asian financial crisis in 1997, and so when that was all done and dusted in 2000, I decided, hey, let's not deal in this anymore. I don't really enjoy it. So on bricks and mortar, set my CV out. I got a job in a big in the Asia Pacific breweries at that point in time, now owned by Heineken. So I was head of entertainment for Singapore, and I did it for 18 months, and then really enjoyed it. It was back to my core, right? Drink beer and work. It's a dream. Not really here in Singapore, but when I go to Australia and I go to the casino and I tell them I do that for a living, people tell me, God, you're a legend, you know. So such a difference.
Head of entertainment for an alcohol company, that's like every college student's dream job.
Exactly.
Right?
You know, I know. But it was like midlife crisis. I started that at 34. And yeah, so I did it for 18 months. And then some brands approached me, CUB, and offered me to start this company called Six Drunk Men. So we started a company called Six Drunk Men, and we from there we just grew till 7% of the draft market was Foster's. Yeah, it was easy. It was actually very easy to do at that point in time.
Oh, nice. Okay. I mean, it seems like entrepreneurship was kind of, I mean, it was the only option from what I can tell. You seem to be going down that path, and that's interesting. I think that's kind of how it was for me as well. We had things kind of fall into place when it's kind of meant to be, I guess. I'm not that fatalistic, but I mean, you got to listen to the stars once in a while.
I think so. I mean, for people out there, I tell them the same thing. Follow your heart. Like, you know, I've always liked marketing, and so I excelled at it in school. You know, it was easy. A's were easy for me in school, but my dad used to laugh at it. So my dad, I come from a military family, and he'll be asking me, "What's all this marketing shit about? I mean, you're not building anything." It's, you know. So I went to finance economics in university, and you know. Yeah. Didn't really like it, right? Stockbroking, etc., etc. And then what I do, full circle, back to alcohol and marketing. You know, so that's life. Follow your heart. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, that's definitely something I think we want to. If anything, this podcast talks about is kind of just do your own thing, follow what you want to do. Yeah. So I mean, just tapping into that right a little bit. Like, so what advice would you give someone looking to be an alcohol entrepreneur in Asia or like Australia, wherever? Like they kind of want to follow the path you took, but maybe not work forklift at IKEA.
Okay. Well, firstly they got to know how to drink. But you know, on the more serious side, they really need to understand the market. They need to be sufficiently cashed up. It's a very capex intensive industry, and you got to. It's not a big party all the time. You got to understand your numbers, especially in Singapore, where it's very price elastic in Singapore, and you got to understand human capital costs. You know, your cost of rental, logistics, everything in Singapore is elevated. So you've got to make sure that you understand your numbers, how to run your business, not just the product itself.
Yeah, I mean, with alcohol brands, I find like that is such a brave thing to do, especially with the amount of competition there is out there. How, like when you entered it, how did you even differentiate and what was missing when you entered the market, and what's missing now that you're kind of filling?
Well, when I entered the market, I believe Tiger beer was maybe 90% of the whole market, and Heineken was 5% of the market. And the rest of it, the last 5% was between Carlsberg and a few other brands. So for me, it was really very easy when you come to market with a monopoly in place with a long defensive line, and you just go in there and figure out where there are weak spots and just go after those weak spots. So the gap in the market at that point in time is in the places of ill repute, the King's Cross of Australia. That kind of places where
Orchard Towers.
Oh wow, you know your things. Okay.
Toad tells me a lot about his adventures.
Okay, but wait.
No. I've not told David a single thing about this. Dave used to live in Singapore. He's the one who took me there for the first time. I've never been there. Mom, I'd never been there before.
We've only heard rumors.
Oh, Mom. Oh, come on, man. He's a good boy. But hey, no, but that's the touristy side of it, right? The localized side in the east of Singapore, it was fantastic. You get these little bars, the 2,000 square feet bars. They could buy $50,000 worth of product from you every month if you could just put a draft tap in their bar. So that was the kind of places that our competitors' senior management never ever went to. And the salesmen would never ever report that they lost so many outlets in these places. In fact, we didn't show up in the AC Nielsen reports for at least 5 years. And then when we finally showed up in the AC Nielsen reports, then at that point in time, we had a big chunk of that market already. So opening a business in a country where there's a big monopolistic company there, unless it's a military, it's going to shoot you and kill you. It's actually easier than if you want to start that business now in this current market and start this business. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't put my money into doing what I did 20 years ago.
Got it. Because I think when there are a lot of smaller brands competing for space, that it's more competitive and the market's a lot more difficult to find niches that you can get into. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting because to me, right, that's for people looking for opportunities because they're always scared of the big guy. While you literally said, this makes my job easier because the big guy won't notice me coming and taking everything from him. Right. And that's great. I mean, oddly enough, that's analogous to how Grab kind of came into the market as well. Like Comfort in Singapore didn't even notice them at the start. Not really. No. So that was interesting. I mean, so right now, right? So if you were to, like you said, you're probably not going to enter the market right now. But if you were to look at it from an outsider's perspective, like, or maybe even from your own personal perspective, right? What's missing from the beer market right now in Singapore, in Australia, wherever you've seen it? Like, what's missing? What do you think is going to be the next big thing?
I think that I think Australia has already seen it with the growth of craft breweries and localized drinking. I mean, there are a lot of brands from different districts in Australia that are famous. Like, I know Perth a lot better, like Gage Roads and Fremantle, Little Creatures there too, and they've moved to the east as well. And there are lots of other craft breweries around. I think for Singapore, space being a premium is the drawback from starting a brewery in retail. But we don't know with the pandemic whether this equation is going to hold or this equation is going to change. Singapore is very unique in that we've just gone through the worst pandemic in 100 years, and yet property prices are going up. So something's amiss. So, you got to sit back and see where it goes in Singapore. But my take is, I think people are willing to try new things now. When we started, every bar I walked into would tell me, my drinkers drink Tiger. But it doesn't work that way anymore. So now the craft bars in Singapore actually look forward to changing the portfolio every now and then. Yeah.
Actually, sorry, Dave, I didn't cut you off, but I've got a question that is very, very local and Singaporean drinkers. Like, what did you think of concepts like the Good Beer Company that opened up in like a hawker center selling craft beers and stuff like that? Was that something that for you was interesting? Did you see potential in something like that?
I think it's good. I think it's experimental. It's exciting that these things are happening. I just think that I tell a lot of my craft friends that my worry for the craft industry is that there's no segmentation. Everybody just says it's craft. So that's the worry. I like the idea that it comes up everywhere, but I think that there must be segmentation in the craft beer side of it. But it's still early days. It needs to evolutionize. It needs to metamorphosize to something else, I think, down the road. So, But I think in Singapore, like I said, Australia has seen the growth of craft brands. I think in Singapore, you're going to see more of it and more usage of regional breweries because everything's close by over here.
For the beer drinkers who are listening to us right now, do you want to kind of go over some of your portfolio? I'd love to talk about some of what you have.
Sure. I just recently acquired. You don't mind if I move my computer? It's not going to give you a headache. I recently acquired Crossroads. That's what it. So the Session IPA. This is actually my favorite. Premium lager. Steam, which is actually a very, very light beer, which is great for Singapore. and golden ale. This is starting to pick up really well into ciders. Somerset Pear, as you know, there's Somerset MRT and Somerset, in Singapore, so that's close to Orchard, and another cider called Orchard Road, which was actually an orchard in the old days. Then, these are from your hometown, David. Tooheys. Can you see?
Yeah, Tooheys.
Yeah, Han Super Dry. Yep. We've got the gluten-free versions here. Han Super Dry and James Bogue's Premium from Tassie. Forex Gold from your hometown again.
Forex.
And okay.
Yep. No one drinks it here, but
you Aussies are the worst evangelists for your mainstream beers. So
yeah, we are. For Foster's and Forex, we are.
Exactly, And so there's so I represent Molson Coors for Belgian White, Blue Moon, Belgian White, MGD, and Staropramen that I showed you earlier on. And we've got craft.
Yep.
We've got craft beers from Ireland as well, from the biggest Irish craft beer brewery. That's O'Hara's Irish Stout, 51st State, and Falling Apple. 51st State is a really good IPA, very strong, 6%, 6.5%. O'Hara's great coffee background flavors.
Wow!
I really love it. It's a stout, but something that grows on you more and more. We have it on draft. Everything here is on draft.
Yeah.
And of course, our cider category. These two are traditional ciders, Falling Apple and Magnus. I don't like the really sweet ciders, so I'll never sell them. So that's what we do. Yeah. And we carry a range of spirits too, but I mean, still a beer company.
Where I'm guessing that each one is sold in its own unique way. Like, are they available in most bars in Singapore, online?
Like how would we find them?
Well, you'd find them in bars, in predominantly the central areas, and some neighborhood bars, the English-speaking ones predominantly. We don't do that Chinese places of ill repute much anymore, but we do the nice places. You can find them in Marina Bay Sands. You can go to the top restaurants. You'll see our beers on tap or on bottles. And we sell online with Amazon, Redmart, Celebrations. Our own website does it too. So you can find it at www.eab.sg, East Asia Beverages.sg.
Nice. We'll link to that in our show notes.
Cool. Great. Thanks.
And Dave, what I gathered from that is now there's more opportunity to get back into the place of ill repute at alcohol. So you and I should start an alcohol company soon. Adrian's left, and now there's space. That's what.
Yeah, thanks for that, Adrian.
Okay. And we're all going to get in trouble here. My girlfriend's going to be looking at this too. She's like, what?
Don't worry, we won't tell her that you always go there to have a look, but you just don't sell to them anymore. Okay, cool. No, I'm joking.
I'm joking. You do what you gotta do, right?
You've awakened something within Tung. You've awakened something like.
But hey, I tell you guys a
refute. Yes.
No, but I tell you a little secret, right? When I started this business, I was a one-man show. I had to go back to the office in the mornings at 5 o'clock and get the contracts done for draft contracts, because every time you go to draft machine, you got to do that. Then you got to spend your nights in talking to customers, etc., etc. And then I couldn't drive home naturally, so I spent most of the nights when I was starting this business sleeping in the little love hotels. So there you go. Places of ill repute, love hotels. It sounds like a dream, right?
Good excuse.
Yeah, but it wasn't a dream.
Oh, I can't drive. Oh, yeah. Stay in a love hotel.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's the excuse I'm going to use from now on, even though technically I don't drive in Singapore. I'm just going to use that excuse now. I'm like, I couldn't drive, all right? That's why I was there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adrian. That's really helpful for me personally, but okay, thank you.
Sure. Use it anytime. You're not plagiarizing.
All right. That's really fascinating, right? So, I mean, a couple of things that we also want to talk about, right, is now that we're in the time of COVID. I know that we're gonna make it a little bit more serious. Now that we're in the time of COVID, right? Like, how has it been? Like, what's the impact you felt with COVID-19 really curtailing nightlife and, like people going out that much anymore?
Well, I mean, we took an 80% hit in top line when COVID hit. It was tough. I think the main concern was about staff and how do you keep everybody going. But being in Singapore, we were so fortunate the government stepped in and helped us with the job support scheme.
Yep.
We had to reposition some of them, and we had to make people finish off their annual leave so that if the market ever opens again, everybody's ready to work. And but from the initial, it was tough because you had to handle your staff who weren't in possession of all the facts, and they just thought that you're being an asshole of a boss who is trying to take advantage of the situation. But towards the end of 2020, you get back and people say thank you very much. I think we did a good job keeping everybody. The hardest part for us in COVID situation was the fact that cash flow just dried up fully. I think the retail side was suffering that they couldn't pay their bills. People like us had to hunker down, and how do you get through without any cash flow? So that was the toughest part. But like I said, being in Singapore is good. Government came in, helped us on the staffing front, helped us on the loans from banks front, and that got us through. But I don't think we're through yet. I think it's still a long way because F&B is still closing at 10:30 every night.
Yep.
But who are we to complain when you look at the countries around the world that some of them don't even have F&B till anything past 6 o'clock, and millions of deaths, hundreds of thousands of deaths in the US alone. So we can't complain, just do what you got to do.
I mean, I still think Singaporeans are going to complain. So we'll just leave it at that. No, but that's interesting though, right? Because I think there's a shift in how people now are consuming as well. So alcohol, going out at night, because I used to I wouldn't say get drunk, but I would get drunk around midnight. Now I get drunk at about 10 and I'm like, all right, I can leave the bar without getting too upset that they're cutting me off. So that usually helped me. It helps me now. I get more sleep. But no, but
it's true.
I do get more sleep. But you're starting to see a little bit of pickup in Singapore, yeah? From even though technically closed at 10:30, there's more cash flow coming in. I'm assuming, yeah. Things are kind of picking up again.
No, I mean, yeah, it's kind of picking up, but and you're more prepared for it now because you had a year. If you had a year to prepare for something and you can't prepare for it, then something is wrong with you. So we've tried doing different things. We've restructured new partnerships, cut our fixed costs. Fixed cost is the one that kills you in Singapore, right? So cut your fixed costs and just really have to drill down to the small numbers and make sure that you count your cents so the dollars looks after themselves.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sorry, Dave. I got one more follow-up question. One more follow-up question that, do you see there ever being because I know that the beer industry and the alcohol industry in general is really driven by nightlife, but do you ever see a direct-to-consumer route really helping shore up the industry even in doing these parts where the nightlife industry is impacted? Because I mean, from personal experience, I've drunk more beer throughout the pandemic than I've ever done in my life. When we was on complete lockdown, we couldn't go out. I bought and consumed more beer than I've ever done in my life. And I think I personally helped the alcohol industry in Singapore just by myself.
You're special,
You both need badges from the government.
But hey, volumes will never come back to what they were before with the on-premise moving on, opening their normal hours. So everybody's suffering at the moment. If you turn on your online, if you go to your online venues and you try and buy beer there, you'll notice how cheap it's become. And spirits and everything else, because obviously everybody's suffering of falling revenues. So it's about moving. It's about moving volumes, and it's interesting because I'm already eyeing what's going to happen during the recovery. How's everybody going to get their pricing back to a place where you actually make money if everybody's discounting the way they're discounting, at rock bottom. And knowing the numbers, knowing the duties, shipping costs and everything else, those guys who are selling at the prices they're selling obviously are losing a lot of money.
Interesting. I didn't think about that fact, because how are your Australian sales going? Do you still sell to Australia?
No, I don't sell anything to Australia. I buy from Australia.
Yeah,
okay,
he basically
that's
buys
right.
from there, Dave. Well done, Dave. Well-researched question.
Yeah. No, it's because it's on the news. It's been Australians spent an extra 2 billion on booze in 2020, mainly from like people like Tom buying at home. So
The market's
but I guess the margins are still low. Like the alcohol spend is high, but the it's not really profitable.
No, but look, it's a different market, right? I mean, in Australia, it's 80-20, as in 80 buy in the off trade and 20 buy in the on trade. Whereas in Singapore, it's like 70% on trade and 30% off trade. So
Oh, wow.
when you lose your 70% on trade, then you are going to, it's hard to make up for it because, because by virtue of the fact, pandemic, people are going to stay at home and you still got 80% of the business, which is off trade before you just grow that, you are actually in an okay position. But over here, you are not because you've lost that entire on trade business. You can't, not many people like to invite
what's
friends.
off trade and on trade?
Okay. Off trade is what we term in my industry is supermarket business, online supermarkets, your local
shops.
ends and
Your bottle shop stuff.
Yeah. Whereas your on trade would be your restaurants, your Italian restaurants, your whatever restaurants, your bars, your stuff. So your gentlemen's clubs, which we don't have over here. So that's the difference.
He's laughing.
So for us to just lose 70% of the whole market, it was a killer over here.
Wow, that's such a difference in consumer behavior. I mean, 80%. I didn't know Australia was 80%.
It is.
Wow, Dave, everybody in
I think
Australia is
it's
an
about
alcoholic.
70.
I always thought that, in hard times, people would just buy more alcohol, even if they couldn't really afford it. They'd buy it because of just being sad,
Yeah, no, but look, the supermarket and online purchases have probably doubled in Singapore, but it still doesn't make up for that 70% loss in the the physical locations where people drink. I mean, houses are small in Singapore. You don't invite your mates home to drink because firstly, the neighbors will complain. Secondly, who's going to clean up? This doesn't really happen. It does happen, but not that much.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that's true. I was telling Dave that there's not much of like a house party, like a social gathering, drinking culture in Singapore. Like they gather but for hot pot, right? And they don't gather for heavy drinking and then passing out and then pushing people on the street. That doesn't happen in Singapore that much.
No.
Unless it's me at your place.
Yeah, the number of times I had to like basically just shove Dave on the ground. Yeah, that's happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
So Adrian, I think we're coming close to the end, but I want to ask a couple of things for you, right? So if you could actually tell yourself, like if you could go back in time, right? Maybe when you were 30, what advice would you impart on yourself during that time? Like from everything that you've learned right now.
I'll just say, just go for it. Whatever you want to do, you have a dream, go for your dream. Make sure that you understand your own risk profile, your own risk tolerance. I accept very high risks. So I generally put everything into my business. So if I went back to my 20, 30-year-old self, I'll say that, hey, do the same thing. Drive it like Zorro, have a passion. But set something aside a little bit more for a rainy day. So that when the rainy day comes, like it did last year, you're a little bit more prepared.
Yep.
No, fair enough.
So just go for it, but have a bit of a savings account or have a bit of something.
Yeah.
A little bit of something, just in case. Yeah. So what's in plan for you in the future? What's coming up in 2021?
Well, I think the next 5 years will be super exciting. We have we are in the market to make a difference again. And I think we have set quite awesome targets for ourselves to hit. And we've got new brands coming on stream. And I look forward to actually building the team to run the new brands. It's exciting. And so the next couple of years, it's full on working. There's a regional focus as well. So hopefully I can start to travel. And sell more beer. A good time.
Sounds good. Hopefully I'll be able to see you in these travels as well.
Yeah, I think so. Anytime you're here or anytime there, I'll look you up.
Sounds good.
I learned some really, really interesting things from Adrian. Something that's really surprising. I mean, the strategy you took in entering an extremely monopolistic market, I mean, that's fascinating. To me, that's the most fascinating thing I've heard in a very long time. And just to bring everybody back, 4 hours on chicken rice is the best way to say that you're Singaporean without saying you're Singaporean. I genuinely, I truly believe that.
Yeah. And noodles.
Yeah, I really enjoy this conversation. It was really fun, Adrian.
Thank you.
If someone wanted to keep in touch with the journey of yourself and your portfolio and your companies, where can they go?
Well, you can always drop us a line to me and address it to me at buybeer@eab.sg.
Okay.
So look forward to hearing from anybody.
Awesome. We'll put that in the show notes as well. Plus with Adrian's personal phone number, address, and all of the other stuff. No, joking. We won't do that, Adrian. Don't worry.
Oh dear.
All of his relatives and loved ones, their contact details, one by one.
Social media, just everything. And
Tung.
Yep.
Tung. We.
Yeah. I mean, this is great. I think that we covered everything. We're gonna put all Adrian's links, everything about the company, where you can find out more about his brand new Crossroads brewery products there as well in our show notes. It'll be on our social, and don't forget to follow us at Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn at Business Over Drinks. Dave, do you have anything else to share before we end it? Oh, YouTube as well. Sorry, Dave.
YouTube. Yeah, please feel free to like, subscribe, give us some feedback, because a little like goes a huge way for us. So it helps us bring awesome guests in like Adrian. And so thank you so much for your support. We love you guys. Thank you for all that you've done for us, for following us for this past year. So thank you. And huge thank you, Adrian, for your time with us. Really appreciate it. I think I've learned a lot.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, this is one of the most fun podcasts I think we've done in a while. Yeah, we've been, I think it's because we did a couple of podcasts quite sober, so that wasn't good. Yeah.
Nothing's ever good when you're sober.
Look, David, just kidding. You've only gone through one, man. You're supposed to do the whole lot.
Oh no, David drinks in the morning, just like his morning coffee is just like his Irish coffee.
Yeah, cool.
Here's a problem. So